Take two. You got the guy in an abdominal stretch, and you grab the rope for extra leverage. Then you get a concussion from the angry rush, and you get paid with a diet soft beverage. On the hardest part of the ring, hey, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you get trapped in a headlock, and you're worried about smearing your lip gloss. You shoot her off and take a shoulder block. Do a leapfrog, give her a hip toss on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Clap, 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 clap. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba da ba da. Whoa, yay. What are we bushwhacking our way through this week, Bob Squad? We are bushwhacking our way through the 150th episode of the hardest part of the ring. And it is being recorded on 2/22/22. A lot of twos, except that 1 0 that everyone's ignoring because it ruins their meme. And on Bob's birthday, goddamn it all to hell, I watched Monday Night Raw, the things I do. That's right, I'm another. They always say another trip around the sun, which baffles me. Oh, I made another trip around the sun. No, you didn't. You sat on your ass. The Earth made another trip around the sun. The Earth has things to do. I hate traveling. I haven't left. I've only left San Diego County twice in a year and a half, and didn't go that much farther outside of it. But be that as it may, that notwithstanding, nevertheless, all things considered, one hand washes the other, a one-trick pony beating a dead horse, hogging the covers and staining the sheets, piss and blood and bleed and piss. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the Hulu edition of WWE. Monday Night Raw, February 20th, 2022. Not as many twos. And it was on a Monday, so it doesn't have that cool Tuesday thing, even though the 2 in Tuesday and the number 2 are spelled completely differently. It's amazing how many people obsessed with this 2 thing cannot use TO and TOO correctly in a sentence. Be that as it may. What are we talking about? We are talking about Monday Night Raw that opens, believe it or not, with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. And later on in the episode, WWE Hall of Famer from Toronto, Canada, Edge, mentions Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. And he talks about being a young man. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. He talks about when he was a young man and he heard the results, match by match, of WrestleMania 3 on the radio. And they mentioned that Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. And little did he know, 94 years later, he would perform on a program. He would perform. Farted, sorry. I'm a human being. He would perform on a program that always opens with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. Does Edge even know that? Does Edge even know that? I don't know if he knows that. I'm going to tell him. I'm not going to tell him. How am I going to tell him? I don't know him. I don't even know anyone who knows him. Can you imagine that? I can't just text somebody randomly and be like, hey, could you text this to Edge? No, that would make no sense. Okay. Hulk Hogan slams Andre the Giant. We start the show off with Brock Lesnar in a cowboy sweater and a cowboy, I'm not kidding, and a cowboy hat. And he's high-fiving all the kids. He's kissing hands and shaking babies. He's saving trees. He's hugging whales. He's all smiles, big, scary baby face. There hasn't been that much of a bigger, scarier baby face since Andre the Giant in that Honeycombs commercial. Honeycombs big. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not smaller. No, no, no. Hungry for that big honey taste. Okay, enough, Bob. Are you done? Are you done? Are you finished? Are you okay, Bob? Chips? Yeah, gotta have beef, gotta have spice, looking for a little excitement, snap into a Slim Jim. Ooh, yeah. Wrestlers make great commercials. What's my point? Brock Lesnar is saving trees and hugging whales and flapping his gums, twiddling his thumbs, rubbing elbows, greasing palms, schmoozing, networking, movers, shakers, trendsetters, go-getters, gypsies, tramps, and thieves. Can't say gypsies anymore, but keep fucking that up. And he's all laughs, and he says he's I don't know. He won the thing at WWE Blood Money, I guess, and whatever. Paul Heyman interrupts him. And then Lesnar gets away with. I can't find my notes. That's why I'm skipping. Lesnar gets away with calling Paul Heyman a dick on USA Network television. Didn't know you could do that. But the problem is, top guys can and other guys can't. That's why he's Seth freaking Rollins. It sounds stupid. Just call him Seth Rollins. Why expose it? So like when The Rock came back in 2011 through 2012, whatever, and he was allowed to say whatever, and John Cena couldn't, and Cena looked like a big fucking nerd. Anyway, Lesnar's got a goofy hat, and he says hi to the kids. He calls Paul Heyman a dick. And Paul Heyman, this is so random. Paul Heyman tells Brock Lesnar that on Saturday, March 5th, which is a week and a half away and change, he knows that Brock Lesnar will have to defend the championship against Bobby Lashley should Lashley pass the concussion protocol because he fought the Angry Russian and put an abdominal stretch on him. That's how Lashley got the concussion. It's not true. And Brock Lesnar tells him he knows this, and the match is at Madison Square Garden. It is so weird. So weird to hear them promote an arena and a big match at that arena. And that's the big deal. Like that was so wrestling. I don't remember. It felt so out of place, but so wonderful at the same time. Made it feel like a big fight. It's at the Garden. Oh my God. What the hell do we do? I don't know. But that segment ended. Okay. Thankfully, there was only two guys involved. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens are talking to an Irish guy, and the Irish guy goes, "I'm Irish." And then I guess there's a tag match later in a main event with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Let's move along. The Alpha Academy wrestles the Street Profits. This was very good and very new. I have not seen this matchup. I probably have, but it's not a matchup that they shove a variation of down our throats every week, like an RK Bro Alpha thing, like for 5 weeks every incarnation of the two teams and singles and on and on. But um, this is interesting. People were happy about Montez Ford flipping and flopping, but one of the biggest reactions of the match, minus the finish, was Otis slapping a big beefy forearm across the back of Montez Ford. Simple. Hit it snug, safe places, made a noise, people believed it. Montez pops a little comeback there. Pops, that's the wrong one. Montez mounts a small comeback, does 3 kicks in a row, all of them had leg slaps. Didn't get the reaction that Otis did with a forearm with no leg slap. Stop the leg slaps. People are onto it. Looks fake. They don't care. Later, Seth Rollins does some. You can't tell. Okay, so how do you know, Bob? Oh, been around, but yeah, he makes it so that you can't tell. It doesn't make it obvious. Montez's weren't that bad, honestly, but it was noticeable, and I didn't care for it. The finish is a little odd because it makes the babyface look stupid, in my opinion, but I get it. Montez Ford goes to body slam Otis. Why wouldn't you do that? And of course, he holds Otis up for way too long, in my opinion. I think Otis should have collapsed right on top of him. And Montez showed off some strength, but he was holding, in my opinion, especially for an underneath guy. No offense to Montez, but they're not the top guys, the Street Profits. They shouldn't be the ones to finally start slamming Otis. That should be a thing that an Orton or a Drew McIntyre or whatever, Lashley, whatever. That should be that Lesnar. That should be theirs, not you know, not Montez Ford. But we do want to build. If we are building them up, I mean, they lost the match and they're not in the big triple threat. Yeah, I gave that away coming up in 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't know why Montez would have Otis off his feet, especially holding him for that many seconds. It was like a long 3 seconds. I didn't like it. Anyway, Otis falls backwards, and at the last second, Gable reaches in over the ring apron, is the hardest part of the ring, and holds Montez Ford's foot down to assist Otis in a pin, which he shouldn't really have had to do. I thought it kind of made Otis look a little dumb, and Otis look a little weak, and Montez look a little dumb. Wasn't that big of a deal. The match was entertaining. I'm nitpicking a little bit, but I wouldn't go replaying Otis being held by Montez Ford, is what I'm saying. I don't think they did. I would not go replaying that. Let's keep him a big deal. Miz has a long talking segment. I fast forwarded it, but I know how it ends. Basically, Cody Rhodes is rumored to have signed or being signed soon to the WWE. Everyone on the internet is speculating Miz's tag team partner is going to be Cody Rhodes. So Miz drops these stupid hints using the word dashing, referring to old Cody Rhodes gimmicks. And it's Logan Paul of the internet who is going to be the heel, and I kept fast forwarding because I knew this was going to happen. I saw it on Twitter already, and I don't want to see it. Dominic and Rey Mysterio were left laying by The Miz and Logan Paul. That's what happened. I didn't want to hear one word out of Logan Paul's mouth, and I wasn't in the mood for The Miz either. Sometimes I'll give Miz the benefit because he can be good at stuff, but since I knew where this was going and the stupid tease this was, I just didn't want to be bothered. Sorry. But an Irish guy is also there. Same Irish guy from before. He's talking to the Alpha Academy, and they are not Irish. The Undertaker is a big long video. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Okie dokie. What did I write down? I don't know. Alpha something something something. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, Undertaker video. That's what I wrote down. Yeah, this is cool. Here's the thing. Um, Wonderful long 5-6 minute video for the Undertaker. It had Metallica's "Sad But True," which morphed cleverly into the Kid Rock "American Badass," which samples that song, so it sounds like the same song. Then back into the Metallica version, and that's cool. I have no problem with a long video that ends with the logo saying Undertaker's going to the Hall of Fame. My issue, again, for the long, what the hell was that? Somebody's outside making noise. For the live audience, they don't even get the payoff of the surprise that Undertaker will be in a Hall of Fame because the company announced that on Twitter like the day of, early in the day, or the day before, something like that. So everyone in this audience who follows this already knows this. They already know. So it's a cool video, but they can watch the cool video at home. They're just standing there for 5-6 minutes watching a cool Undertaker video. It's the Undertaker. It gets a little bit of leeway, but it's a long video, guys. You know, the live audience gets ripped off so badly and so mistreated here, and they wonder why they only react to the stars. And they did react to Brock Lesnar and later on Edge as stars. Make no mistake about it. We have a singles match. Damien Priest defeats Shelton Benjamin. Nothing to write home about here, and why would I bother? What a boring letter to my mother that would be. She has no idea who these people are. Damien Priest cuts a promo, kind of out of breath, with a deep voice, and he challenges anyone. He says I think he misspoke. He said he's volunteering the U.S. Championship next week. I don't know what the hell that means. Is the championship gonna make sandwiches for the homeless? What the fuck is the championship supposed to do? But nevertheless, the championship's gonna pick up garbage on the highway. I don't understand. Anyway, Finn Balor comes out and he's wearing a t-shirt. It's a dark t-shirt, but he still has noticeably sweaty armpits, and I don't know why. Um, he shouldn't wear a t-shirt anyway. The man has 400 abs. Why is he ever wearing a shirt? If it were my company, if it were me, which is what these things are for, these podcasts, all of the winter shows would be in warm places like this one. It was somewhere in South Carolina. So Finn Balor would not have to wear a shirt anywhere he goes. Also, again, every time they do this with a state like South Carolina, they say where in South Carolina and never mention what city in South Carolina because they're so afraid of looking local or hillbilly-ish. It's $1 billion company. You won. Get over it. Just say where you are. Are you in Columbia? Are you in Greensville? Cousin Luke, do you know? Do you know any other South Carolina cities? Of course you do. Were they at Clemson University? Is there a Simpsonville? Probably. I don't know. And the audience, more importantly, the audience at home doesn't know because you won't fucking tell us. That's the problem. It's not really a problem. Next, Hulk Hogan slams Andre the Giant. No, he doesn't. That happened already. Bianca Belair cuts up more talking. So much talking. She cuts a promo, and the first minute or two of this was pretty good. And it petered out. And she ran out of stuff to say because these segments are too long. They gave her too much rope and just too much space to mess things up, and it wasn't good. Because for the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, like she was feeling it. She was being herself. She was smiling and laughing. And usually Bianca commits. She's one of the ones who commits the crime of entering the ring in the same mood to the same entrance all the time, regardless of the circumstance. In this case, she should be in a good mood. She just won and gets a main event match at WrestleMania, so it makes perfect sense here. But if, let's say, she gets attacked and jumped next week, then when she enters the week after, she's going to be in the same happy, smiley mood. That's no good. But here it was fine because it was appropriate. And again, Bianca was fine for a minute or so, and then she had to start going through her mandatory, I must say, EST several times spiel, and it gets, jeez. Like we were getting to know her, and then we weren't, and it was a bummer. Becky Lynch interrupts Bianca Belair naturally, and they have a good back and forth. Again, Becky, for like the 10th or 12th week in a row, Becky's making all of this gaga, this goofiness entertaining as much as she can. So she's good going back and forth with Bianca, and she does commentary on the upcoming match with Bianca versus Dewdrop. Um, Normally, I'd say, well, beating Dewdrop, what's the big deal? Dewdrop got pinned by Liv Morgan, who they're not doing much with at the WWE Blood Money over the weekend. But Dewdrop is like, because of her size, she's got that Mark Henry, Kane, Big Show, Great Khali kind of thing, where even if they're not used on top right now, because of the size, a victory over them, Tamina is another one. Nia Jax never lost, but Tamina would be one. Because of her size, it's always a big deal to beat her. So there's that. And Bianca does two big noticeable power moves. Of course, the finish was Bianca's finish, and the big power bomb catching Bianca or Dewdrop. Bianca caught Dewdrop on the second rope, gave her a power bomb in the middle of the ring, which is the softest part of the ring, supposedly. It is, but still, they don't tickle. Becky Lynch was funny at ringside. Corey Graves actually made me laugh. Go figure, and and he didn't make me laugh by suggesting he and his fiancee or wife should have a reality show. He made me laugh by Becky claiming to be overheated and dehydrated, and Corey was fanning her with his notes, with his pages, his pieces of paper. And the way and it's a silly bit, but the way they did it was funny. And Becky's believable, and she just rolls with everything that spews out of anyone's mouth, so it worked. And Becky held up her championship, standing on a table, of course, because that's what we use. Everyone stands on tables for some reason. That's how we abuse furniture in this company. And the Hall of Famer Edge shows up. Edge is in South Carolina. He's likable. He's personable. He soaks it in, but not to a ridiculous degree, as sometimes. He just tells him he's happy to be there. He goes down the story I mentioned, listening to the radio as a kid, and he lists through his many, many, many WrestleMania accomplishments, and he says he wants to make somebody else live forever. This is the part I don't understand, but this is like esoteric nonsense. He just needs a match at WrestleMania, basically. And he used the word phenomenal once, and of course, the big not so secret rumor is that Edge and AJ want to wrestle each other at WrestleMania. So that's most likely what's going to happen, which is fine. But I just don't see any real reason or personal issue or even professional issue for the two of them. I don't really know. Maybe there will be one. I don't know the answer. But this was good. Edge delivers everything like he means it. And he's mentioning events that took place and give us a kind of a continuity. Kind of makes it feel more worthwhile to be a long-term fan. So when Edge mentions Foley and the burning table and the old ladder matches and Undertaker in the main event, and he ties it into Undertaker, congrats on the Hall of Fame, and yada yada yada. He mentions the ladder match with four or five guys and he's not allowed to mention right now or whatever. All that stuff. Um, it made you feel like, oh, this is part of a long story. It's worth investing. It's not, by the way. So that ended, and it looks like Edge and AJ is your safest bet as to where it looks like that was going. Are we done yet? No Alexa Bliss on this show, by the way. The main event is RK Bro versus Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Before I get into that, the full non-Hulu edition. Apparently, Tommaso Ciampa from NXT has been showing up. And I think he wrestled, and him and Finn Balor were a tag team. and had some kind of tag team match where they beat maybe Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode is my best guess, but I really don't know. And I think Rhea Ripley just beat Nikki ASH for the 40th time in recent memory. And apparently there was a 24/7 thing where I guess at some point in recent history, Dana Brooke has lost the 24/7 championship and she re-won it from Reggie somehow. I think there's a thing where he has a crush on her, but she just says they're friends. So they're doing like a friend zone angle. Yes, this sounds familiar. And I think she manipulated him by kissing him, which knocks a man out because he's 11 years old apparently, and that leads to the pin. Um, I think I saw pictures of it on the Twitter. It's a popular social media platform. So that's what we missed. I'd like to see Tommaso Ciampa on Raw. Maybe I'll look it up. RK Bro wrestles Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Four pros. Really good. Owens stomps Riddle's feet every time they wrestle, every time, and it's great every time. At least on three occasions I've seen it so far, probably more. Wonderful thing on the outside early on where Orton looks like he's going to give that belly to back to Seth Rollins on the table. Owens pulls Seth out of the move. Orton does it to Owens instead, and Seth used that time to run through the ring and do the dive onto Orton. We go to commercial. And yes, it's the classic do a dive, go to break spot. But they put a little extra something on it to keep you guessing. And that's why they're pros. That's why they're the best. Orton shaved his mustache. I don't know how I feel about it. I wasn't ready to let go yet. Wonderful finish. I think the heels pretty much just won clean. Orton ended up getting the stomp from Seth on the outside of the ring, and then there was a lot of back and forth with Riddle versus Kevin Owens and Seth. And Riddle walked into a stunner from Kevin Owens and then a stomp from Seth, and I think Seth got the 1, 2, 3. One of them pinned Riddle anyway. And this means that the two heels, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, are now going to be part of a triple threat versus Alpha Academy and RK Bro for the Tag Team Championships. Not next week, but in 2 weeks, which I thought was peculiar. But I did like their announcing future matches to give you maybe time to think about it, care about it a little more. And they did say next week, maybe they ended early because they were putting up graphics for next week. Finn Balor versus Damien Priest for the U.S. Championship is next week. So okay, so they did give us one for next week, which is good. Uh, what else haven't we seen? What the women's tag team champions? I don't know what they're doing. Are they wrestling on SmackDown at all? I don't know. So it looks like we're kind of hyping up this Madison Square Garden show on March 5th. It's a Saturday. I think the day after is an AEW pay per view. I think I'm going to get it. I'm going to watch that. Maybe do a review here. That'll be fun. If the MSG thing is on the network, I can't guarantee a hardest part of the ring for that because I have the AEW pay per view the day after it, and I do really want to do that just to keep this thing more balanced and talk about something else too. It's better for me, honestly. And I know in 5, 6, whatever weeks we've got that absurd WrestleMania weekend. I'm already not looking forward to. So it would be nice just to be like, oh, well, who are these other wrestlers? Let me learn about them and talk about it and tell you all the things I saw and blah 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 blah. That'll be exciting. Sometime this week you'll have a new fun boxing because I am driving up Saturday from San Diego to Redondo Beach. It's a long drive each way to see my buddy Luigi, the god of pit bulls. So I want to record a fun boxing again. Maybe I'll just put it up early, so you'll get it like maybe when you wake up Friday morning. It'll just be there for you guys. I'll spoil it right now. Who cares? I'm finally gonna open up a retro GI Joe Grunt. Finally, I've been staring at him for way too long. I opened him up on Christmas morning, and I had him sit around for probably a month or so before that. Because my next GI Joe Fun Bob, I've already started writing the script. Grunt is going to be in it, of course, because he's a new figure, and I'd like him to have a bit of an important role and some screen time. So, and I'll spoil this too. There's going to be a scene, not the opening scene, but maybe second or third, For no real reason or a very poor excuse that I'll make, there will be a scene of Snake Eyes riding a ram cycle through Castle Destro or Castle Grayskull, because it's just pure insanity and awesomeness, and I think it will be fun. So that's going to be in there. Why the hell not, right? Ooh, maybe that'll be the bonus scene that I kind of upload like halfway when I'm halfway done with the thing because I like to do that. That would be a good one because it's bananas. So what the hell? Why not, right? So I'm working on that. So I want to get Grunt out of the package, and I got lucky with the timing. On my birthday, I three GI Joe comic books that I ordered, and I haven't read any of these. I'm reading all these for the first time. They arrived along with some. I've had this problem going on with my Sun Bobs, of all the different brands of the ground. What do I use for grass and the ground and dirt for years? So I ordered this pretty cheap, but model railroad grass, which I hope doesn't move too much. Because I have these other fuzzy felt things that kind of looked good, but they always just moved. And then I've had this other tissue paper I've used on occasion, which sometimes does the trick, but there's so many folds and creases in it. I'll use it for the sky as well, and it does the trick of using a different color background than my off-white wall, but sometimes the wall works just fine. It really doesn't matter, but it can't always. So just to splash it up, give you a different look, give you a different look. Oh well. Thank you, Bob Squad, for listening to the hardest part of the ring. Much appreciated. Thank you for being with me for 150 episodes on my 42nd birthday, on 22222. All these things are happening at once, and they're happening on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Why do you do that? That's when you feel like a big dope. They're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you reach out for the hot tag and you go ahead and make your own comeback, knock it off. That's when you should quit wrestling and you're better off rolling the thumbtacks. AEW, the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. One more, sometimes you're distracting the referee and the babyface has your wrestler pinned. Then you get punched in the ring apron, and you realize all the trouble you're in when it's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Ba da ba da